Graduates and faculty, please be seated. Well, good morning. Oh, come on. You have to be excited to be here. Good morning. Yes. I can't tell you how excited we are. I was just talking to Dean Zimmer about, I didn't anticipate how emotional this was going to be. It's just so wonderful to see all of you in person. My name is Brian Zwinell. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Life, and I have the honor of welcoming you to the graduation of the class of 2021 from the University of Colorado School of Medicine. I would like to recognize the distinguished faculty who join us on this platform today. Those include Deans John Riley, Shanta Zimmer, Jeff Druck, Deb Seymour, Jeff Suhu, John Repine, and our invited guest speaker, who is fantastic, Dr. Kimberly Manning. To say that it's a great feeling to welcome you in person is a huge understatement. I will say I'm a little intimidated by the Jumbotron. I'm trying not to look at that. I never imagined myself up on a Jumbotron. While we know this is still not your entirely typical graduation ceremony, we are ecstatic to be here with our students, faculty, hooders, and many family and friends that were able to join us today. I would be remiss if I did not recognize our Director of the Office of Student Life, Haley Shacklock, and our Senior Director of Events for the campus, Zach Strober, and the entire OSL staff, who have done an incredible amount of work to make this happen today. So please join me in thanking them. I also wanted to thank Chancellor Elliman and Dean Riley for making this even possible. They really pushed to make sure that we were able to do this in person, so we greatly appreciate it. We know not everyone was able to join us in person today, so we'd like to welcome the students and loved ones who are sharing in our live stream. We also welcome all those who are watching live stream who supported the class of 2021 during their time in medical school. While this seemingly endless pandemic has brought so many unwelcome changes to our lives, it has also served as a reminder of how fortunate we are to welcome an extraordinary group into the profession. Finally, we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we know we cannot let our guard completely down. Throughout this crisis, the class of 2021 responded with a sense of altruism, reaching out to each other and so many in the community to offer a helping hand. The tenacity and resilience you have demonstrated throughout this public health crisis will serve you well in both your personal and professional lives. We will always remember the lessons you have taught us in the face of extreme disappointment. And when you responded with a selfless spirit, it will continue as inspiration for this campus for years to come. We can't thank you enough for reminding us what a privilege it is to be a physician and to have the opportunity to support the success of those who are going to be carrying the profession into the future. In addition to welcoming all the audience today, I wanted to recognize our faculty marshals. These individuals were selected by the graduating class in recognition to their service to the class. The marshals this year are Drs. Shanta Zimmer, Regina Richards, Austin Butterfield, Juan Lessing, J.J. Cohen, and myself. On behalf of the marshals, we thank you for this incredible honor. We would also like to take a moment to honor and thank those who served in the military, including our graduating students who have served in or matched in the military, along with faculty and guests who have served or are currently serving in the military. Please stand to be recognized. We can't thank you enough for your service. To the class of 2021, I know I speak for countless faculty and staff when I say we're grateful to have the opportunity to join you on your journey. This graduation is particularly special for me, as you were the first class I welcomed at the orientation in Winter Park. I remember standing in front of you and telling you that I was likely as nervous as you were about being there. And I would tell you today, I'm as excited as you are to see where you are today. It's been a phenomenal journey with you. Your collective accomplishments before and during medical school are remarkable. You have endured a tumultuous time in our history and have always stood for what is right. You managed to maintain a strong sense of community despite the incredible barriers that were laid before you. Your dedication to the disadvantaged has been sincere. You have always understood that compassion for one another is a critical characteristic of our profession. On behalf of our faculty and staff, I would like to thank the family and friends of our students for allowing us to share in their lives. This is such a special day, and we're so proud to be able to share it with you. I now have the distinct honor of introducing our class speaker. Zainab Zalali has been selected by the class of 2021 to speak on their behalf at commencement today. Zainab came to us from Colorado School of Mines as a magna cum laude graduate with a bachelor's in science in chemical and biochemical engineering. For those of you that know School of Mines, that is a very, very difficult degree. Well, the accolades did not stop there. While at the School of Medicine, she was elected both to the Gold Humanism Honor Society and Alpha Omega Alpha. She has an extensive research and community service background, including serving as a volunteer interpreter at the Refugee Resettlement Program, affiliated with the Denver Rescue Mission and Lutheran Family Services, and as a mentor in the Asian Pacific American Medical Student Association. She has served as an inspiration for her colleagues and faculty with her passionate yet calm demeanor and her wisdom that's well beyond her years. I had the good fortune of working with Zainab in the clinical setting, and I will tell you what I saw was an enviable combination of incredible clinical reasoning and sincere empathy. Zainab will be bringing her talents to the prestigious University of California, San Francisco Neurology Residency. Please join me in welcoming Zainab.
Class of 2021, faculty, friends, family here and at home, congratulations. I sat down several times trying to find the words to say to you all to properly commemorate this experience of medical school and to transition us off into the sunset of residency, to say the right words to keep your spirits afloat for the next 3 to infinity years of training that would stave off burnout and help maintain your empathy. Lofty goals, I know, but what could I say to these 184 brilliant, resilient, honest, reflective group of kids I proudly call my colleagues that hasn't already been said? I'm not exactly sure, but to help me come up with a few words, I called upon the spirit of Dr. Lowenstein, the self-assurance of Dean Riley, the courage of Dean Zimmer, the calm supportiveness of Dean Dwanell, the honest vulnerability of Dean Druck, the kind understanding of Dean Del Pino Jones, and whatever powers Dr. French gets from that beautiful mustache of his. To the best medical school class of all time, I can say for a fact that whatever wisdom and growth I have achieved from these last 4 years have been from and alongside you. I wanted to spend some of this time to remind myself and you all of the lessons learned and what I hope to carry with me in these next formative years of physicianship. I must first reflect on how we all got here. Some of us have continued a family tradition in medicine, while others carved their own unique paths. For myself, as the daughter of Afghan immigrants, I have always been keenly aware of the privilege of a safe and robust education. Today, I and many Afghans around the world grieve the continued instability of our homeland that recently led to the devastating bombing of a girls' school in Kabul, killing upwards of 90 young, beautiful, hopeful girls, any one of whom could have been standing where I am right now. And the stories that others of you carry in the crowd, other first-generation doctors, first-generation college students, graduates, first-generation Americans, make you all uniquely capable of profound empathy, advocacy, and inspiration. I understand the heaviness that comes from carrying your story, plus the stories, the needs, the pain, the joy of entire communities, along with the guilt of the seemingly random fortune you have been afforded by a mix of circumstance and hard work on your shoulders everywhere you go. I am proud of the grace with which you do it. I'm proud that you bring it to medicine, and I'm proud that we fight to add more seats at the table for people like us, because we know the importance of speaking up for and addressing the needs of the disenfranchised. A special congratulations to you all. As for the experience of medical school itself, while many of us, myself included, did experience some of the darkest moments of our lives in these 4 years, full of self-doubt, loneliness, heightened stress, we are all here, we're alive, knowledgeable, and capable. I certainly don't aim to dismiss the very real sacrifices and difficulties of these last 4 years. When I remember the schoolgirls of Kabul, I cannot express how thankful I am that my biggest obstacles these years were exams, anxiety, sleeplessness, and a loss of time that was spent in the service of gaining knowledge that will be used to alleviate burdens for others, and for a future that is bright for each of us. To the teachers and administration who made that happen, we thank you. To the custodians and environmental service workers who kept this campus beautiful and safe for us when we made the library and hospitals our homes, we thank you. To the patients whose lives crossed paths with ours and taught us about medicine and humanity, we thank you. To the family who supported us and reminded us frequently why we are doing this all, we thank you. For the friends who listened and grounded us when times were rough, we thank you. I personally thank you for creating some of the most inspiring colleagues and friends I have ever met. We faced moments that have stretched our resiliency to its limits and have survived. And I know we will face plenty more as we think about the enormity of the struggles ahead, not only residency, but also the ugly heads of healthcare racism, global pandemics, health misinformation, vaccine hesitancy, privatized insurance that stand in the way of a truly healthy society. But when I look at you all, I know that medicine is in good hands to tackle these issues. We understand the interconnection between all people, that physicians are not only members of their own medical community, but also members of a global community who possess a specialized sphere of knowledge. What we do with that knowledge when we work for not just ourselves, but for our communities, can be profound. I am excited to see what you will all do, not only in the field of medicine, but also in politics, medical education, community engagement, research, tech, and beyond. One other experience in medical school that shaped my understanding was from the first week of our cardiovascular block, when I interpreted for my grandfather during a cardiac stress test. He was found to have a small wall motion abnormality and was stented. He apologized for making the jobs of the doctors and nurses more difficult and thanked them for taking care of him. He set the bar pretty high for patient interactions I hoped to encounter, and I quickly learned that this was not the everyday encounter. While these positive reinforcements are helpful, I found that radical acceptance and understanding of all patients, especially those who cannot express or understand how hard you work to care for them, will serve you best in longevity and in providing selfless care like you would for any family member or friend. Understand that the way others treat you does not say a single word about you, and only our actions and reactions are within our control. Those are the ultimate reflections of our own character. Of course, have healthy self-reflection on how you can be better, see a therapist, speak to your loved ones, protect yourself from abusive and unsafe encounters, and then stand in the assurance of your good character. Let frustration roll over you and do not welcome it to stay in your heart. Finally, I would like to leave you all with a singular piece of advice given to us by every patient who spoke to our class over the years. Listen. Listen. Stave off the receptive aphasia that tempts us on our busy days. Do not turn away from suffering. Look at it, hear it, become familiar with it. Feel it, vow to alleviate it with your hands, with your hearts, with your words. This is the privilege of medicine. And as our own Dr. Amanda Tompkins stated so beautifully, this is the privilege of a broken heart. We intimately and regularly experience suffering with our patients if we stay open to their stories. And forgive me for having a hopeful and value-deriving mentality to human suffering, but I've seen firsthand how my own community, my Afghan community, who are all too familiar with gut-wrenching pain and human suffering, regularly and proudly turn that pain into a heightened emphasis on that which is within our control. Things like good character, hospitality, generosity, gratitude, resilience, making them some of the best people on earth, in my humble opinion. I hope that you trust me when I say that making oneself open to suffering, the suffering of patients, will make us stronger, will make us better advocates, will make us good humans, and even better doctors. Take care of yourself along the way, but do not let go of the opportunity to really care for others as well. Have courage. You can do it. All right, now that you've all gotten a taste of the pep talk I try to give myself and to live by with variable success, let's move forward. Thank you for giving me the honor of your time today. Let's graduate, let's celebrate. Congratulations, class of 2021. Thank you.
Wow, that's all I can say right now. It's just wow. Zainab, that was amazing. Thank you so much for that inspirational address, but also for your courage, compassion, and resilience. You serve as a role model for everyone. We're so grateful to have the opportunity to get to know you. Well, I'd next like to invite two of my favorite people to the stage. Our current co-presidents who have served as co-presidents for all 4 years of the class of 2021. They are remarkable individuals and have set the standard for the function of co-presidents from here to eternity. They are just absolutely marvelous. So please, Kyla Burrows and Anthony Scott, please join me on stage.
Thank you, Zainab. That was truly inspiring, and to be frank, it's going to be a hard act to follow. Good morning, class of 2021, family, friends, and faculty. My name is Kyla Burrows, and this is Anthony Scott. Like Dr. Dwinell said, we've been the class of 2021 co-presidents over the past 4 years and are so excited to be standing before you today. Over the past 4 years and beyond, our class has served the uninsured and vulnerable populations of Colorado. We have knelt for justice with white coats for Black lives. We've advocated heavily for the destigmatization of and access to mental health. With the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, we eagerly jumped to the chance to volunteer in any way needed while still contributing meaningfully to scholarship, mentorship, and research.
What we've learned in 4 years is that medicine is steeped in history and tradition. However, we, as medical students, straddle the line between past and future. We've studied the first anatomy lessons in 300 BC and also assisted in robotic laparoscopic surgery. We've learned the mechanism of adaptive immunity and witnessed the development of the COVID-19 mRNA vaccine. We know that medicine has come so far, but we also see how far we have left to go. From the socioeconomic and racial disparities in our communities to the inequities in our own fields. This morning, we have the extreme pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Kimberly Manning, a decorated professor of medicine from Emory University School of Medicine, who's also the vice chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Dr. Manning's tireless work, educating folks through media appearances, national lectures, her many writings in the ACP Internist embodies the spirit of the class of 2021, a class of educators, advocates, and leaders. Her work in public health reflects the hidden curriculum that we discovered the past 4 years. Understanding medicine's history is key to providing equitable future care for all of our patients.
Dr. Manning is deeply involved across the field of medicine. She's involved with medical education, groundbreaking research, community outreach, and patient advocacy. She is a recipient of so many awards, it would take us the entire morning to list them all. In fact, she's won a teaching award every single year over the past 20 years. She is a transformative leader who inspires medical students, residents, and faculty across the country to uphold the prestigious art of best caring for patients. She advocates passionately for humanism in medicine, understanding and recognition of bias in medicine, and excellence in clinical decision-making. Dr. Manning is a wife, mother, friend, colleague, and mentor, and she is the physician that we all aspire to be as the class of 2021.
As you can tell, we are thrilled to have such an inspiring physician with us today as our graduation speaker. So without further ado, please join us in welcoming Dr. Kimberly Manning.
Wow. Somebody very special to me who is very wise once taught me that you should always start with gratitude. So I always start with gratitude. So to the class of 2021, I just first want to say thank you for this invitation and this opportunity to be here at such a pivotal time for you. You know, being here in this moment is not something I ever imagined for myself. And I'm pretty sure that there's at least one person sitting out here right now who feels the exact same way right now. But what I know for sure is that nothing is promised, and any opportunity that we get, any moment in time that we get, we must be good stewards of our influence. And so I want you to know, class of 2021, this moment in time is not lost on me. I am present in the moment. I'm reflective in the moment. And I am deeply, deeply grateful for your confidence. Thank you. And I'm 50 now, so I had to put on my readers. To the faculty, alumni, distinguished guests, and deans, to the ones who helped out publicly and those behind the scenes, to the parents, sibs, and guardians, the partners and the boos, the spouses and the families, by birth and those we choose, to those who helped in troubling times or held your place in line, and even to the haters who tried to stop your shine. Thank you for the special part that each of you have played, the love, the thoughts, the cash apps, woo! The hope that did not fade. But now I'll shift my focus to our special honorees, the graduating scholars who've earned these big degrees. It was a score and 5 years back that I sat in your place, with this mix of joy and pride and angst erupting from my face. On one hand, it felt awesome to reach this final year, but then began the tiny voice that murmured in my ear. You aren't the one they think you are. Your knowledge, it's subpar. And even worse, somebody has them thinking you're a star. Your scores were low compared to theirs. How you talk just gives away that you slipped in on accident. So watch the things you say. That little voice would follow me and grow far more intense. And no matter what I told myself, it just felt too immense. And so I did my best to shrink and morph into someone else, a code-switched version of a person different than myself. Because every single place I looked, the winners seemed to be, with very few exceptions, the opposite of me. So I watered down my culture, toned down the black girl magic, and strived to not be other to avoid things getting tragic. So one night in my internship, while taking late night call, a nurse paged and told me, "Come now," the worst page of them all. I ran and saw this patient who said, "I'm so afraid, I cannot breathe, don't let me die." And next came the cascade of paralyzing feelings that I would let him down. I watched his O2 falling, his pressures coming down. I tried to call my resident, but she was busy too. The nurse looked up and asked me, "So what you gonna do?" I tried to part my lips to speak, but just let out a gulp. But then things grew chaotic when I heard, "He's lost his pulse." Compressions and commotion The sirens for a code. Inside, my heart pounding so hard, I feared it would explode. Now here's the part where you expect to hear about the way I beat my chest, let out a howl, stepped in and saved the day. But nope, I stood there frozen, not trusting what I know. The imposter syndrome cackling in my ear. I told you so. But that nurse, her voice was louder. She said, come on, little sis. Just focus on the human being. Don't worry, you got this. But we is what she should have said, because we worked together. Her coaching me through my first code to get our patient better. That nurse, she taught me something, left me forever changed. She saw the light inside of me, stepped in and fanned my flames. With time, that voice grew softer, but never disappeared, and still shows up at times like now and whispers in my ear. Someone's disappointed that the speaker here is you. A black girl born in Compton from some HBCU? You aren't the one they wanted. Your knowledge, it's subpar. And even worse, somebody has them thinking you're a star. But now I know to close my eyes and say, come on, little sis, just focus on these human beings. Don't worry, you've got this. So I'll tell you what I wish I'd heard when I felt scared to fly, convinced that if I was myself, they'd shoot me from the sky. You're just what we've been waiting for. And see, no one can be a better version of the very best you can be. You're black, you're white, you're brown, you're tan, your multi-ethnic vibe, the beautiful diversity in your AAPI. You're cis, you're trans, you're non-binary, you're het, and yes, you're queer. The tattoo that you do not hide, the piercings in your ear. The richness in the way you speak, the rhythm in your hips, the raspy gravel of the laughs that tumble from your lips. The way that you express your faith, however that's defined. Your wheelchair or your hearing aid, your size, your shape, your mind. The unique pain you felt and feel when your eyes are forced to see a person who looks just like you, lifeless below a knee. The unfair COVID hate you felt, but no one paid attention. The deaths of your trans sisters, too, that no one seems to mention. The thing is, for our patients, our diversity is imperative. And when we show up as ourselves, we redefine the narrative of what a doctor looks like and who gets welcomed in and who will fight to save their lives, and yes, who gets to win. When my patient left that ICU, I sat beside his bed. He took my hand, gave it a squeeze, and tearfully he said, I'm glad you was my doctor. I was scared this was the end, but I knew that God had blessed me when my doctor looked like Ken. I'm not saying that the other doctors ain't go out their way, but something about when I saw you told me I'd be okay. And I have to say, I had more times in training that were tough, but that patient's affirmation told me that I'm enough. So anything you're feeling, I've likely felt the same, but I see the light inside of you, and I'm here to fan your flames. And so I hope that you'll let my voice linger in your ear to drown out the imposter syndrome voice. So hear me loud and clear. You aren't the one they think you are, or something basic. Nope. But who you are is something that's 1,000 times more dope, 1,000 times more capable, 1,000 times more true, 1,000 times more needed, 1,000 times more you. So if you forget all that I said, here's what you shouldn't miss. Just focus on the human beings. Don't worry, you've got this. Congratulations.
I have to compose myself for a second after hearing that. That was absolutely incredible. You know, we had the good fortune of having dinner last night with Dr. Manning, and just from what I learned from her at dinner last night, I was ready to give her a teaching award. And I'll tell you one thing that she asked us. She asked us about our graduation speakers at medical school, and we sort of looked at each other and we were trying to remember. And she said, I hope I say something that the class of 2021 will remember. I gotta tell you, I'm never forgetting that for the rest of my life. Truly, truly remarkable. Before I introduce our next speaker, I wanted to recognize some faculty who were selected by our students for some very prestigious awards. The first is the Chancellor's Teaching Award, which was awarded to our Assistant Dean of the Clinical Corps, Dr. Jennifer Adams. The second award is the President's Teaching Award, and that was awarded to our Interim Assistant Dean of Student Affairs and Communications God, Dr. Deb Seymour. Congratulations to both of you. You know, the common characteristic between the two of them, doesn't matter what day of the week, what time of day, they will do anything they can to help any student be successful. That's what we want in our educators. Last year, unfortunately, we were unable to recognize our award winners due to the virtual ceremony, but I happen to know that both are watching virtually today, so I wanted to recognize Dr. J.J. Cohen and Dr. Nicole Zender. We love you and miss you both. For all of our award winners, including faculty and students, later today, there will be a link posted on our graduation landing page. I encourage everyone to take a look at the outstanding achievements of our students. Well, I do now have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, our Dean, John J. Riley, Jr. Dean Riley has been the Dean of the School of Medicine for 7 years. Prior to joining us at the University of Colorado, he was the Jack D. Myers Professor and Chair of Medicine at the University of Pittsburgh. Before arriving in Pittsburgh, he spent several years in leadership roles in pulmonary and critical care at Brigham and Women's Hospital. He has over 130 publications and nearly 300 invited presentations. Most importantly, his leadership throughout the pandemic has been steadfast and extraordinary. He has consistently demonstrated compassion and grit while somehow maintaining a high level of empathy and a wonderful sense of humor, despite being in the eye of the storm, responding to so many in distress. I know I speak for all the faculty and students when I say, Dean Riley, we can't thank you enough. Please welcome Dean Riley.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you here. As Dr. Dwinell has mentioned, it's not a normal graduation, but it's normal-ish, which is a lot better than we thought it was going to be a few weeks ago. So I want to welcome everybody who's able to attend in person, as well as the friends and family and faculty who are watching online. Now, one of the usual traditions at our graduation is a reunion of the class that graduated 50 years ago, in this case 1971. And because of the pandemic, we did not ask those class members to travel here today, but want to recognize the fact that quite a number of them expressed an interest in coming back and will be joining us in the fall. So we thank them for their ongoing support. Similarly, we usually take this occasion to recognize those faculty who are retiring from the School of Medicine, often thanking them in person. And for similar reasons, most of them are not here today. As our students know and our faculty know, we have a very large faculty here at the School of Medicine. So I apologize in advance if we leave out any of the retirees. But I'd like to recognize Dr. James Borgstadt, Dr. Patricia Coughlin, Dr. Richard Dick Davis, Dr. Molly Eaton, Dr. James Falco, Dr. Carolyn Green, Dr. Arthur Gutierrez Herman, Dr. Dan Hyman, Dr. Doug Jones, Dr. Madeline Kane, Dr. Sandra Martin, Dr. Dennis Matthews, Dr. Alberto Pena, Dr. Peter Sachs, Dr. Ernesto Salcedo, Dr. Robert Schwartz, Dr. Fred Severn, Dr. Thomas Smith, Dr. John Song, Dr. Richard Spritz, Dr. Gary Team, Dr. Ann Chun-Wee Tsai, and Dr. Michael Woodner. We greatly appreciate their service to the school and all the contributions they've made to our 3 missions. Please join me in a round of applause for them. So if you're following along in your programs, you know now it's time for the remarks from the Dean. And I'm acutely aware that I am standing between you and your diplomas, so I will be brief. Dr. Donnell mentioned that he and his colleagues could not remember their graduation speaker. I can't remember mine, frankly, and I'm coming up on my 40th reunion shortly. So I will keep it short. I also have the misfortune and good fortune simultaneously of following 2 fabulous speakers. So I feel like I'm under serious pressure. And the imposter, that syndrome voice that's in Dr. Manning's ear is now in mine because she clearly doesn't need it anymore. So there's a quote attributed to the famous medical educator Yogi Berra, although some people think it started with Mark Twain. It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. That has been particularly true during your time here at medical school. I can't tell you what a delight it is to see all of you here today. If you had asked me to predict in February whether we would be able to make this happen, I would say not until May of 2022. So the fact that we were able to make this happen is in part due to tremendous progress on vaccinations and also the very hard work of Zach Strober and the entire Office of Student Life, including Haley Shacklock. So I want to thank them for that. So I think, because I don't have the eloquence of our previous 2 speakers, I, of course, plagiarize and use quotes. And so I think the quote for this class is from the famous book, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, and it was the winter of despair. I hope we are in the spring of hope now. But I hope you're all a little bit nervous about what comes next for you, because you will get the page like Dr. Manning did. I remember my first night on call as an intern getting paged by a nurse saying, "Can you come see Mr. So-and-so? He says he's having the worst abdominal pain of his entire life." And showing up and having the nurse turn to me and say, "Okay, what are you going to do?" It's a pivotal moment in your careers, and it's at both a graduation and a commencement, moving on to the next phase of your career. So if I had to pick another quote to summarize what the last 4 years have been, I would turn to a modern set of philosophers, the Grateful Dead, and say what a long, strange trip it's been. You have been in medical school at a remarkable time, not only for you, but for the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has left an indelible mark on the world and on your educational experience. And when I was on the stage during your white coat ceremony back in 2017, the word COVID did not exist. So it has been a tremendous transformational event around the globe. And it has shone a bright light on many things, both good and bad. In the good category, it's demonstrated the selflessness, bravery, and hard work of the healthcare workforce, including all of you sitting here in CAP, or should I say octagonal TAMs. Thank you, Haley. I thank you and echo the thanks that was previously expressed for the way you pitched in during a time of extraordinary stress and the altruism, resilience that you have displayed during the pandemic. You know, when they survey the American public, the two professions that are at the highest level of trust with the average person in the United States are nurses and doctors. And in the last 18 months, I think we have seen why. The healthcare force has really stepped up. We've also seen the fact that our society has been investing in science over the past 40 years pay dividends. To go from an epidemiologic observation originating in a live food market in China to isolating a virus, sequencing a virus, and developing at least 3 highly effective vaccines and deploying that to millions of people in a span of 18 months is extraordinary. I don't want people to lose sight of that. As bad as this has been, and it has been terrible, just imagine in your mind what it would be like if we were 2 years away from effective vaccines right now, which it would have been fast by historical norms. We've also learned that we can deliver healthcare in unconventional ways using virtual platforms. We can deliver education in unconventional ways. We've learned sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it's not as good as being in person. But it will forever change the way we deliver healthcare throughout the course of your careers. The bad is it has shown a bright spotlight on things that have existed before but are now too obvious for us to ignore. Probably when you entered med school, you didn't devote a lot of thought to the words supply chain. Now they're a big deal for all of us. We recognize that we have failed to make the adequate investments in the public health infrastructure we need to be able to respond quickly in situations like this. And this will happen again. Hopefully not in your careers, but probably will. Most importantly, it's shown a light on the dramatic health disparities in our society, the differential toll that COVID has taken on many groups that are underrepresented in the power structure of our societies, and I think has been a call to action that we collectively as a society and as physicians need to develop solutions to this. The emergence of the important phrase, the social determinants of health, highlights the fact that while we have an important role to play as medical professionals in improving the health of those for whom we provide care, we're only a piece of the puzzle and our society as a whole, with our advocacy as physicians, must address the structural factors that contribute to disparities that we've seen historically and even in heightened fashion over the last 18 months. When you couple these challenges with the fact that technology is rapidly changing, I don't know how many selfies you guys have taken today, but the advent of all this portable technology, the integration of omics data, whether it be genomics or metabolomics or proteomics, to more precisely define diagnostic categories and guide therapeutic decisions, and the continued explosion of scientific knowledge, it is clear that you, class of 2021, will finish your careers practicing in a very different way than you will starting 2 weeks from now. We have tried to give you, help you develop the tools that will allow you to stay current and channel this progress in a way that benefits everyone in our society. So now's the time, as I finish up, where I normally bemoan the fact that you all look distressingly young, and you do. It's dawned on me that you're not getting younger, I'm just getting older, hence the large font here. And I want to express both my joy at seeing you move forward in this phase of your careers and my jealousy over the fact of the type of careers you're going to be able to have. I think you will be able to have an enormous impact. It's one of the most exciting eras ever in medicine, and it is a fabulous thing to be starting out on your medical careers now. Former First Lady Michelle Obama stated, "Empower yourself with a good education, then get out there and use that education to build a country worthy of your boundless promise." We're confident that we've provided you the opportunity to get that good education, And now we share in the collective hope that you will use it to make our country a better place. As fulfilling as my career in medicine has been, and it's been fabulous, particularly for a misanthrope like myself, I look at the opportunities you have, and I'm a little jealous of what you're going to be able to accomplish. I hope that you do great things. I hope that you remain connected with CU so we can take credit for the great things that you do. Throughout your careers, I hope you never forget the importance of putting the patient at the center of your decision-making, treating, as you've heard from our previous speakers, all with empathy and respect, and never forget our collective obligation to care for all of the members of our society. It is both a great responsibility and a great privilege, and I hope you find fulfillment in the career as you move through it. In closing, I want to say you have reached this point by being really good at what you do, and that includes being really good at taking tests and knowing the answers to questions. So I want to remind you at this point in your career, it's important for you to be honestly say when you don't know the answer to questions. And sometimes those questions are answerable, and you need to make the commitment to go find those answers when you don't know, but sometimes they're not, and that should prompt the search for strategies to be able to answer them. You also need to be honest throughout your careers, and by that I mean, first of all, honest with yourselves. Admit it when you make a mistake, correct it, learn from it, and move on. We all make mistakes. You will not go through your career performing perfectly. You need to be honest when that happens and make sure that it doesn't happen again. So I'd like to close, again, offering my congratulations to the class of 2021. And I would like to close with another quote to bookend the one I started with. And this one is from Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict the future is to create it. I look forward to the future that you create as the class of 2021, and look forward to having you be part of the healthcare workforce that makes our society a better place. Congratulations and the best of luck to you as you embark on this next phase of your careers.
And now for the part that you've all been waiting for. I'm going to welcome to the podium two of my favorite colleagues, Dean Struck and Seymour, who will begin the hooding process.
Thank you, Dean Winnell. Now we begin the hooding ceremony. Graduates, please leave your caps on your chairs and approach the platform by rows as you are released by the staff. The hood that is placed on the graduates dates back to the Middle Ages as the mantle of the profession placed on the shoulders of new physicians. The hood is lined with the colors of the university conferring the degree, and the dark green velvet trim denotes the medical degree. Graduates, when we call your name, please walk onto the platform and stand on the X to be hooded.
For students who did not choose a hooder, Deans Zimmer and Dwinell will serve as the designated hooders as elected by the class of 2021. Dean Riley will present the diploma to each graduate following the hooding.
Before we begin, that's the cue for you all to start walking. Before we begin, Dr. Seymour and I wanted to tell you all what an amazing privilege and an amazing honor it is to be the first to get to call you doctor. Dr. Allison Adams has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Allison is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Adams will do her residency in family medicine at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland.
Brian Adams has a Bachelor of Arts from St. Olaf College and a Master's of Science in Epidemiology from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Brian is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Stephanie Wilson. Dr. Adams will do his residency in internal medicine at the University of Miami in Jackson.
Dr. Elsa Alaswad has a Bachelor of Arts from George Washington University. Elsa is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Alaswad will do her residency in neurology at George Washington University in Washington, D.C.
Hans Edgar Anderson has a PhD from the University of Colorado. Hans is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Tracy Price Johnson. Dr. Anderson will do his internship at Health One in Lone Tree and his residency in physical medicine and rehabilitation at the Medical College of Wisconsin.
Dr. Jacqueline Anderson is attending virtually today. She has a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and Business Administration from California State University, Sacramento. She has chosen her mentor, Dr. Amy Bernard, to be her virtual CU School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Anderson will do her residency in pathology at Stanford University.
Kelsey Lynn Andrews. Kelsey graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Biology from the University of Kansas. She's being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designee. Dr. Andrews will do her residency in family medicine at Providence Health in Milwaukee, Oregon.
Dr. Ya Obenawa Usari has a Bachelor of Science in Public Health from Tulane. Ya is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Carlos Franco Paredes. Dr. Usari will do her residency in internal medicine primary care at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Ellen Ofulashade Auni has a Master's of Public Health from Emory University. Sade is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Regina Richards. Dr. Owini will do her residency in OBGYN at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Lindsay Babcock has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado School of Mines. Lindsay is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. John Burke. Dr. Babcock will do her residency in neurology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Eliza Baird Daniel has a Bachelor of Arts in Neurobiology and Animal Behavior from Cornell University. Eliza is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Wayne Gluff. Dr. Baird Daniel will do her residency in neurologic surgery at the University of Washington Affiliated Hospitals in Seattle.
Dr. Ali Balabanova has a BA in biochemistry from CU Boulder. She is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Frank Scott. Dr. Balabanova will do her residency in orthopedic surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Sarah Bardwell has a bachelor degree in science from the University of Colorado in Denver. Sarah is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Carrie Mader. Dr. Bardwell will do her residency in family medicine at the University of Idaho in Nampa.
Dr. Hannah Catherine Benjamin has a Bachelor of Arts from Stanford University and a Master's of Science from the University of Colorado in Aurora. Hannah is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Ty Lockspicer. Dr. Benjamin will do her residency in pediatrics at the University of Washington Seattle Children's Hospital.
Dylan Bergstead has a Bachelor of Science from Pepperdine University. Dylan is attending virtually today. He's chosen his mentor, Dr. Kevin Dean, to be his virtual School of Medicine hooder. Dr. Bergstead will do his residency in internal medicine at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver.
Dr. Nicholas Bianchina has a Bachelor of Science from Drake University. Nicholas is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Jeffrey Suhu. Dr. Bianchina will be doing his residency in internal medicine at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Erin Berringen has a Bachelor of Music from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Erin is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Berringen will do her residency in internal medicine at University of Arizona in Phoenix.
Dr. Neil Bishop has a BS from Brigham Young University and is attending virtually today. Dr. Bishop will do a preliminary year in medicine at Christ Hospital in Cincinnati.
Zachary Blea has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Zachary is being hooded by a School of Medicine designee in the absence of his mentor, Dr. Samid Sheikh. Dr. Blea will do his residency in emergency medicine at Ascension Providence, Michigan State University at Southfield.
Dr. Nikki Block is attending virtually today. Nikki has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. She has chosen her mentor, Dr. Rachel Wilkinson, to be her virtual CU School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Block will do her residency in psychiatry at Montefiore Medical Center, Einstein in the Bronx.
Catherine Cecilia Branch has a Bachelor of Arts from Washington University in St. Louis. Catherine Kitty is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Shanta Zimmer. Dr. Branch will do her residency in orthopedic surgery at University of Missouri in Kansas City.
Dr. Timothy Brown has a Master's of Science from the University of Colorado in Denver. Timothy is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Brown will do his residency in general surgery at Methodist Health System in Dallas.
Caitlin Brunworth has a Bachelor of Arts from Wingate University. She's being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Austin Butterfield. Dr. Brunworth will do her internship in medicine at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver and her residency in physical medicine and rehabilitation at University of Miami-Jackson Health System.
Dr. Abigail Bryant has a BA in molecular biology from Skidmore College. Abigail is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Mariah Hoffman. Dr. Bryant will do her residency in family medicine at Tacoma Family Medicine.
Kyla Burrows has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado at Boulder. Kyla is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Teresa Harper. Dr. Burrows will do her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento.
Dr. Max Cabrera has a Bachelor of Arts from Rutgers University. Max is being hooded by his sister and CU School of Medicine alumna, Dr. Natasha Cabrera. Dr. Max Cabrera will be doing a preliminary year in medicine at Emory University in Atlanta.
Brenna Cameron has a Bachelor of Science from University of Puget Sound. Brenna is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Dan Nicholas. Dr. Cameron will do her residency in pediatrics at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Scott Cow has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Colorado. Scott is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Alan Klein. Dr. Cow will do his residency in anesthesiology at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston.
Jesus Adrian Cardenas has a Bachelor of Arts from University of California, Riverside. Jesus is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Megan Prin. Dr. Cardenas will do his internship in surgery at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver and his residency in anesthesia and critical care at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Lauren Carpenter has a Bachelor of Science from Villanova University. Lauren is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Leanna May Mosier. Dr. Carpenter will do her residency in medicine pediatrics at Indiana University in Indianapolis.
Noel Carrillo has a Bachelor of Science from California State University in San Marcos. Noel is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Bonnie Kaplan. Dr. Carrillo will do her internship in medicine at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver and her residency in diagnostic radiology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Scott Edward Christensen, Jr. has a Bachelor of Science in Biology and Psychology from Creighton University. Dr. Christensen will do a preliminary year in surgery at St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver.
Nathan R. Clark has a Bachelor of Science from University of Wyoming. Nathan is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designee. Dr. Clark will do his internship in surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Melissa Conklin has a Bachelor of Science from the University of California, Los Angeles. Melissa is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Shauna Tonic. Dr. Conklin will do her residency in obstetrics gynecology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Bailey Corson has a Bachelor of Electrical Engineering from the University of Colorado in Boulder and a Master of Biomedical Sciences from Colorado State University. He is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Daniel Moon. Dr. Corson will do his residency in the transitional program at the Naval Medical Center in San Diego.
Dr. Ian Coulter is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Ronald Colson. Dr. Coulter will do his residency in neurology at the University of Washington in Seattle.
Sophia Durba has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Colorado in Denver. Sophia is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Deborah J. Parsons. Dr. Durba will do her residency in emergency medicine at Carolinas Medical Center in Charlotte.
Dr. Casey Dolan has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs. Casey is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Heather Cassidy. Dr. Dolan will do his residency in neurology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Yishai Dalin has a bachelor degree in Talmud and Rabbinics from the Jewish Theological Seminary. Yishai is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Joel Friedlander. Dr. Dalin will do his residency in pediatrics at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Kunal Doshi has a Master's of Public Health from George Washington University. Kunal is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Doshi will do his residency in family medicine at Contra Costa Regional Medical Center in Martinez, California.
Sam Dunham has a Bachelor of Arts from McLaren McKenna College and a Master's of Science from Tufts University. Sam is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Joseph Sakai. Dr. Dunham will do his residency in psychiatry at San Antonio Military Medical Center in Fort Sam, Houston.
Dr. Bryant Elrick has a Master's of Science from Creighton University. Bryant is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Frank Scott. Dr. Elrick will do his residency in orthopedic surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Daniela Escobar has a bachelor's degree in integrative physiology from CU Boulder. Daniela is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designee. Dr. Escobar will be doing her residency in family medicine at Research Medical Center in Kansas.
Dr. Simon Faseha has a BA in molecular cellular developmental biology and a BA in neuroscience from the University of Colorado Boulder. Simon is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Shanta Zimmer. Dr. Faseha will do his residency in internal medicine at the University of California, San Francisco.
Amber Fleck has a bachelor degree from North Carolina State University. Amber is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Matthew Moles. Dr. Fleck will do her residency in medicine and pediatrics at Duke University Medical Center in Durham.
Dr. Connor Fling is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Ellen Sarcone. Dr. Fling will do his residency in internal medicine at the University of Washington in Seattle.
Ryan Friedman has a Bachelor of Science from University of Colorado in Boulder. Ryan is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Friedman will do his residency in internal medicine at Oregon Health and Sciences University in Portland.
Dr. Joseph Robert Fuchs has a Bachelor's of Science in Biomedical Engineering from Marquette University. Joseph is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Paratosh Kaul. Dr. Fuchs will do his residency in internal medicine at the McGaw Medical Center of Northwestern University in Chicago.
Benjamin Fuller. Benjamin is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designee. Dr. Fuller will do his residency in internal medicine at University of Virginia in Charlottesville.
Dr. David Gamble has a Bachelor of Science from Baylor University. David is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designee in the absence of his mentor, Dr. Christopher King. Dr. Gamble will do a preliminary year at the University of Colorado in Aurora and subsequently train in anesthesiology at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine in New York.
Mackenzie Lee Whitesell Garcia has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University and a Master of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Mackenzie is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Yasmin Sakro. Dr. Garcia will do her residency in primary care internal medicine at Emory University in Atlanta.
Dr. Sanjana Garamella has a bachelor's degree in science from the University of Colorado. Sanju is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Garamella will do her residency in internal medicine at Yale in New Haven.
Lillian Goodman has a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Lillian is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. David Jinsar. Dr. Goodman will do her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver.
Dr. Sarah Dellen Graves is attending virtually today. Sarah has chosen her mentor, Dr. Breck McCarty, to be her virtual faculty hooder. Dr. Graves will do her residency in family medicine at the University of Texas in Austin.
Dr. Hunter Reese Greer has a Bachelor of Science from Brandeis University. Dr. Greer is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell.
Dr. Daniel J. Grine has a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from the University of Colorado, Denver. Daniel is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Jeffrey Peterson. Dr. Grine will do his residency in psychiatry at Health One in Lone Tree.
Kira Grush has a Bachelor of Arts from Colorado College and a Master's of Education from University of Colorado, Denver. Kira is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jennifer Adams. Dr. Grush will do her residency in internal medicine at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Karima Carpenter Hamamsi has a Bachelor of Arts from Dartmouth College. Karima is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Lauren Grossman. Dr. Hamamsi will do her residency in primary care internal medicine at the University of Washington in Seattle.
Dr. Katie Havernack has a Bachelor of Arts from Macalester College and a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Katie is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jeremy Long. Dr. Havernack will do her residency in primary care medicine at NYU Grossman School of Medicine.
Dr. Sarah Hirschman has a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Sarah is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Roberto Silva. Dr. Hirschman will do her residency in family medicine at the Family Medicine Residency of Idaho in Boise. Not Ohio.
Where am I now? Caitlin Michelle Hinton has a Bachelor of Arts from Concordia College. Caitlin is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Allison Trope. Dr. Hinton will do her residency in emergency medicine at John Peter Smith Hospital in Fort Worth.
Dr. Allison Hickson is attending virtually today. She has a PhD from the University of Colorado. Allison has chosen her mentor, Dr. Cornelia Dries, to be her virtual CU School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Hickson will do her residency in neurology at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis.
Sami Hussein Hurry has a Bachelor of Science from University of Colorado in Denver. He's being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Mark Deutschman. Dr. Hurry will do his residency in family medicine at North Colorado Medical Center in Greeley.
Dr. Madeline Huey has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. She is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Heather Cassidy. Dr. Huey will do her residency in general surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Darian Hunt has a Bachelor of Science from University of Northern Colorado. Darian is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Austin Butterfield. Dr. Hunt will do her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Creighton University affiliated hospitals in Phoenix.
Dr. Eddie Husarsik has a BS in biochemistry from Arizona State University. Dr. Husarsik will do his preliminary year at St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver and in diagnostic radiology at the University of Missouri in Kansas City.
Dr. Olivia Hutton is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Drew Ashby. Dr. Hutton will do her residency in family medicine at University of Wyoming in Cheyenne.
Dr. Hannah Imlay is attending virtually today. She has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University. Dr. Imlay will do her residency in orthopedics at Tripler Army Medical Center in Honolulu.
Dr. Andrew Isaac has a Bachelor of Science from University of Arizona. Dr. Isaac is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Erica Mandel.
Dr. Carlos Jaquez has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University. Carlos is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Regina Richards. Dr. Jaquez will do his residency in emergency medicine at John Peter Smith Hospital in Fort Worth.
Beza Jobira has a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Dr. Jobira is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jennifer Adams.
Dr. Alexander Jones is attending virtually today. He has a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Colorado Boulder. Alexander has chosen his mentor, Dr. Frank Scott, to be his virtual CU School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Jones will do his residency in family medicine at the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga.
Dr. Sean Jones has a PhD from the University of Colorado. Sean is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Mario Santiago. Dr. Jones will do his residency in internal medicine, PSTP, at Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston.
Dr. Andrew Kamel has a Bachelor of Arts from Washington University in St. Louis. Andrew is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Nadine Mikhael. Dr. Kamel will do his residency in internal medicine at Montefiore Medical Center, Einstein in the Bronx.
Lakshmi Priya Karamsetti has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado at Boulder. Lakshmi Priya is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Karam Seti will do her residency in psychiatry at ISMMS Mount Sinai, Beth Israel, New York.
Dr. Timothy Kelly has a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Timothy is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Michael Overbeck. Dr. Kelly will do his residency in emergency medicine at Indiana University in Indianapolis. Dr. Alec Cairns is attending virtually today. He has a Bachelor of Arts from Lewis and Clark College. He has chosen his mentor, Dr. Deborah Seymour, to be his virtual School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Cairns will do his residency in family medicine at the University of Montana, Missoula. Strong work. Dr. John Kibbe has a PhD from the University of Colorado and is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Kara Wilson. Dr. Kibbe will do a transitional year at Health One in Lone Tree and then dermatology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Dae-Woong Kim is attending virtually today. He has a Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience from University of California, Los Angeles. Dae-Woong has chosen his mentor, Dr. Emily Cavello, to be his virtual hooder. Dr. Kim will do his residency in emergency medicine at Emory University in Atlanta.
Dr. Michael Klausner has a Master's of Science, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Arts, all from Colorado State University. Michael is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Thomas Jensen. Dr. Klausner will do his residency in emergency medicine at Madigan Army Medical Center in Tacoma.
Dr. Glendolyn Klein has a Bachelor of Science from University of Colorado College of Nursing. Dr. Klein is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Steven Zeichner.
Dr. Claire Koljak is attending virtually today. She has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Claire has chosen her mentor, Dr. Austin Butterfield, to be her virtual CU School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Koljak will do her residency in psychiatry at Columbia University Medical Center in New York.
Akshay Kumar has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Colorado in Denver. Akshay is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. David Richards. Dr. Kumar will do his residency in emergency medicine at Denver Health Medical Center in Denver.
Dr. Megan Kunkel has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University. Megan is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lubert. Dr. Kunkel will do her residency in pediatrics at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Dustin Lamb is attending virtually today. Dr. Lamb will do his internship in surgery at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver and his residency in anesthesiology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Melissa Lauder is attending virtually today. She has a Bachelor of Science in Chemical and Biological Engineering from the University of Colorado Boulder. She has a Master's of Science in Bioengineering and a PhD in Bioengineering from the University of Colorado. She has chosen her mentor, Dr. Mona Sadigpour, to be her virtual CU School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Lauder will do a transitional year at the University of Texas at Austin Dell Medical School and then dermatology at NYU Grossman School of Medicine in New York.
Dr. Bryn Launer has a Bachelor of Arts from Pomona College. Bryn is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Launer will do her residency in urology at Vanderbilt in Nashville.
Dr. Alexandra Lauren has a BA in History from UCLA. Alexandra is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jennifer Adams. Dr. Lauren will do her residency in emergency medicine at Denver Health Medical Center here in Denver.
Ian Lawrence has a Bachelor of Science from University of Iowa. Ian is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Hal Richardson. Dr. Lawrence will do his residency in medicine and pediatrics at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Young Lee has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Young is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Cleveland Piggott. Dr. Lee will do his residency in family medicine at Swedish Medical Center in Littleton.
Dr. Colton Levitt is attending virtually today. He has a Bachelor of Science from University of Utah. Colton has chosen his mentor, Dr. Kean Riley, to be his virtual School of Medicine hooder. Dr. Levitt will do his residency in urology at University of Utah in Salt Lake City.
Dr. Andy Levy has a Bachelor of Science in Biology from the University of Denver, and he is attending virtually today. Dr. Levy will do his residency in family medicine at St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver.
Daniel Levy has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University. Daniel's being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designees. Dr. Levy will do his transitional internship in surgery at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver.
Dr. Michael Levy has a Bachelor of Arts from Stanford University. Michael is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Vishnu Kulasekaran. Dr. Levy will do his residency in primary care internal medicine at the University of California, San Francisco.
Dr. Carly Little has a Bachelor of Science from St. Edward's University and a Master's in Chemistry from the University of Colorado Boulder. Dr. Little is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Rita Lee. Dr. Little will do her residency in internal medicine at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland.
Dr. Tristan Losberg has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University. Tristan is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Steve Zeichner. Dr. Losberg will do his residency in anesthesiology at UC Irvine Medical Center.
Amrita Krupa Mahajan has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado at Boulder. She has chosen her mentor, Dr. Max Wohlauer, to be her virtual CUSOM faculty hooder. Her real hooder. Dr. Mahajan will do her residency in general surgery in Michigan.
Dr. Catherine Mann is attending virtually today. She has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Central Florida. Dr. Mann will do her residency in family medicine at St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver.
Dr. Rachel Martin has a Bachelor of Arts from Carleton College. Rachel is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Carolyn Tank. Dr. Martin will do her residency in psychiatry at Virginia Tech Carillon Clinic in Roanoke.
Dr. Desiree Martinez has a Bachelor of Arts from Colorado College. Desiree is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Scotty Church. Dr. Martinez will do her residency in family medicine at the University of Washington in Seattle.
Dr. Ryan Mazur is attending virtually today. He is a Bachelor of Science from Colorado School of Mines. He has chosen his mentor, Dr. Christina Olson, to be his virtual School of Medicine faculty hooder. Dr. Mazur will do his residency and transitional year at the Naval Medical Center in San Diego.
Dr. Rachel Modal has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Minnesota in Morris. Rachel is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Locke Kenny. Dr. Modal will do her residency in internal medicine geriatrics at the Medical College of Wisconsin affiliated hospitals in Milwaukee.
Kyle McDaniel has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Colorado in Denver. Kyle is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Jennifer Stickman. Dr. McDaniel will do his residency in internal medicine hospitalist program at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Laura McWhirter is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Elena Leduska. Dr. McWhirter will do her residency in pediatrics at Oregon Health and Science Center in Portland, Oregon.
Dallin Milner has a Bachelor of Science from Brigham Young University. Dallin is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Sanaa Karam. Dr. Milner will do his internship in medicine and his residency in ophthalmology at University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Filiberto Morales has a Master's of Public Health from Harvard University. Filiberto is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Roberto Silva. Dr. Morales will do his residency in family medicine at Scripps Mercy Hospital in Chula Vista.
Dr. Graciela Mujica has a Bachelor degree of Science from University of Maryland. Graciela is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Carlos Franco Paredes. Dr. Mujica will do her residency in anesthesiology at University of Michigan Hospital in Ann Arbor.
Dr. Sarah Muramoto has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Colorado in Denver. Sarah is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Katie Bakes. Dr. Muramoto will do her residency in emergency medicine at Louisiana State University in New Orleans.
Richard Alexander H. Nakano has a Bachelor of Arts from Boston University. Richard is attending virtually today. He has chosen his mentor, Dr. Roberto Silva, to be his virtual CUSOM faculty hooder. Dr. Nakano will do his residency in family medicine at Ventura County Medical Center in Ventura.
Dr. Alexander Wen has a Bachelor of Science from the University of California, San Diego. He is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Mario Villaseñor. Dr. Wen will do a preliminary year at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center and then anesthesiology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Tiffany Nguyen has a Bachelor of Science from University of California in Irvine. Tiffany is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designees. Dr. Nguyen will do her residency in internal medicine at Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena.
Dr. Christian Nicolosi has a Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience from Regis University. Christian is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. William Niehaus. Dr. Nicolosi will do his residency in preliminary internal medicine year at the University of Colorado and then continue in physical medicine and rehabilitation again at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Courtney O'Rourke has a Master of Science from Mount Sinai School of Medicine of New York University and a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado at Boulder. Dr. O'Rourke is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designees. Dr. O'Rourke will do her residency in internal medicine at Womack Army Medical Center in Fort Bragg.
Dr. Jocelyn Renee Overall has a Bachelor's of Science in Neurobiology, Physiology, and Behavior from UC Davis and a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Jocelyn is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Christine Wasdorp Hurtado. Dr. Overall will do her residency in pediatrics at the University of California, San Francisco.
Dr. Curtis Samuel Pacheco has a Bachelor of Science from University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. Curtis is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. John Bowman. Dr. Pacheco will do his residency in internal medicine at San Antonio Military Medical Center in Fort Sam, Houston.
Dr. Madeline Payton has a Master's of Science from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Madeline is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Emily Gottenborg. Dr. Payton will do her residency in general surgery at the Mayo Clinic School in Phoenix.
Dr. Reagan Peliquin has a Bachelor of Science from University of Arkansas. Dr. Peliquin is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designee. Dr. Peliquin will do a residency in psychiatry at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Catherine Elise Pemberton has a Bachelor of Science from Eckerd College. Catherine is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Megan Treats. Dr. Pemberton will do her residency in pediatrics at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Austin Reed Peralta Fogel has a Bachelor of Science from University of Colorado in Denver. Dr. Peralta Fogel is being hooded by the School of Medicine faculty designees.
Dr. Adam Peshek has a Bachelor of Science degree from the Colorado School of Mines. Adam is being hooded by Dr. Frank Scott. Dr. Peshek will do his residency in orthopedic surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Stefan Peterson has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado in Colorado Springs. Stefan is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Gretchen Domek. Dr. Peterson will do his residency in pediatrics at University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas.
Dr. Haley Mackenzie Davis Petrick has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Haley is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Mark Deutschman. Dr. Petrick will do her residency in family medicine at North Colorado Medical Center in Greeley.
Dr. Agnes Pham has a Bachelor of Science from Regis University. Agnes is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Pham will do her residency in psychiatry at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Andrew Pham has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Denver. Andrew is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Jackson Turbyfill. Dr. Pham will do his residency in internal medicine at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Ryan Calvin Fan has a Bachelor of Science from University of Notre Dame. Ryan is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. John Rapine. Dr. Fan will do his residency in anesthesiology at Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Torrance.
Dr. Casey Lawrence Picard has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Casey is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Jeffrey Picard. Dr. Picard will do his residency in general surgery at Skyridge in Health One in Lone Tree.
Dr. Anastasia Ponomarova has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado at Boulder. Dr. Ponomarova is attending virtually today. She will do her residency in psychiatry at Montefiore Medical Center, Einstein in the Bronx.
Dr. Hector Santiago Paragas has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Hector is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Joseph Grubenhoff. Dr. Paragas will do his residency in obstetrics gynecology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Kristen Porter has a Bachelor of Science from Auburn University. Kristen is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Mark Deutschman. Dr. Porter will do her residency in family medicine at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver.
Dr. Jamie Pospisil has a Bachelor of Science from Brown University. Jamie is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jenny Buchanan. Dr. Pospisil will do her residency in emergency medicine at SUNY Brooklyn.
Dr. James Powlin has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado at Boulder and a Bachelor of Science from California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo. James is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Frank Scott. Dr. Powlin will do his residency in orthopedics at William Beaumont Army Medical Center in El Paso.
Dr. Alan Quach has a BS in biology from the University of California, Los Angeles. Alan is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Brian J. Flynn. Dr. Quach will do his residency in urology at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha.
Dr. Leila Ramos Ariaza has a Master's of Science from Colorado State University. Leila is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Shanta Zimmer. Dr. Ariza will do her residency in otolaryngology at University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Bradley Reeves has a Bachelor of Science degree in Biology from Colorado State University, Pueblo. Bradley is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Frank Scott. Dr. Reeves will do his residency in orthopedic surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Grant Ridgway has a Master's of Science from Tufts University School of Medicine. Dr. Ridgway is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Benjamin Elkin. Dr. Ridgway will do his residency in family medicine at Kettering Health Network in Kettering, Ohio.
Dr. Aaliyah Ryder has a Bachelor of Science from University of Kansas. Aaliyah is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Hilary Stemple. Dr. Reeder will do her residency in anesthesiology at the University of Illinois in Chicago.
Dr. Druck, how many people does it take to land a helicopter?
They are trying to save somebody's life. I guess we should cut them a little slack.
Dr. Hope Recheck has a Bachelor of Science from Kansas State University. Hope is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Robert Delaval. Dr. Recheck will do her internship in the transitional program at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center in San Jose and her residency in dermatology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Jennifer Robinson has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado State University. Jennifer is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jenny Soap. Dr. Robinson will do her residency in pediatrics at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis.
Dr. Gabrielle Rhoda is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Rhoda will do her residency in emergency medicine at Denver Health Medical Center in Denver.
Kyra Rohde has a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry from Hillsdale College. Kyra is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Brandy Freeman. Dr. Rohde will do a preliminary year of general surgery at St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver, followed by anesthesiology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Rihanna Rubner has a Bachelor of Arts from Metropolitan State University of Denver. Rihanna is attending virtually today. She has chosen Dr. Rachel Gruff to be her virtual CUSOM hooder. Dr. Rubner will do her internship at the transitional program at University of North Dakota in Fargo and her residency in diagnostic radiology at Montefiore Medical Center, Einstein in the Bronx.
Dr. David Manuel Sabio has a Bachelor of Arts in Geography from the University of South Carolina and a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. David is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Joseph Sakai. Dr. Sabio will do his residency in psychiatry at Vidant Medical Center, East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina.
Dr. Christina Ann Sandquist has a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Christina is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Carrie Mader. Dr. Sandquist will do her residency in family medicine at Tacoma Family Medicine.
Dr. Rosalind Savoy has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Rosalind's virtual hooder is Dr. Kristen Demerel, who is unable to attend today. Dr. Savoy will do her residency in internal medicine at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque.
Dr. Sean Schooley is attending virtually today. Sean has a Bachelor of Science degree in evolutionary biology from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Dr. Schooley will do his residency in pediatrics at Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters in Norfolk, Virginia.
Dr. Anthony Scott has a BA in psychology from Arizona State University and a Master's of Healthcare Innovation from Arizona State University. He is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Leonard Seibold. Dr. Scott will do his residency in psychiatry at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Delia Shash has a Bachelor of Science from Florida State University. Delia is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Deirdre Wagers. Dr. Shash will do her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at University of Arizona in Phoenix.
Dr. Mitchell Shellman has a Bachelor of Arts from Princeton University. Mitchell is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Paul Montero. Dr. Shellman will do intern year in surgery at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Dave Sheneman has a Bachelor of Arts from University of Colorado in Boulder and a Master's of Public Health from the Colorado School of Public Health. Dave is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Chris Liu. Dr. Sheneman will do his residency in internal medicine at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver.
Dr. Richard Smith has a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from Loyola Marymount University. Dr. Smith will do his residency in anesthesiology at Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Torrance.
Dr. Taylor Christina Soderborg has a Bachelor of Art from Oberlin College in Neuroscience and a PhD from the University of Colorado in Integrative Physiology. Taylor's being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jenny Buchanan. Dr. Soderborg will do her residency in pediatrics at Boston's Children's Hospital in Boston.
Jamie Melissa Solis is attending virtually today. Dr. Solis will do her residency in child neurology at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston.
Dr. Alexandra Sotiris is attending virtually today. Alexandra has a Master of Science from Colorado State University. She's chosen her mentor, Dr. Christine Haynes, to be her virtual hooder. Dr. Sotiris will do her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Stanford Hospital, Columbia in Stanford.
Matthew B. Spear has a BA in economics from Boston College and a Master's of Public Health from Johns Hopkins University. He is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Ty Lochspizer. Dr. Spear will do his residency in pediatrics at the University of Texas at Austin Dell Medical Center.
Dr. Christina Stevens has a Bachelor of Arts from University of California, Berkeley. Christina is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Stevens will do her residency in pediatrics at Boston Children's Hospital.
Dr. Anne Strong Caldwell has a Bachelor of Arts from Dartmouth College. Anne is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Juan Lessing. Dr. Strong Caldwell will do a preliminary year at the University of Colorado, followed by ophthalmology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Aaron Sturman has a Bachelor of Science from Montana State University in Bozeman. Aaron is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Sturman will do her residency in psychiatry at Harbor in Torrance.
Dr. Alexis Sunshine is attending virtually today. Dr. Sunshine will do her preliminary year at Health One in Lone Tree, followed by diagnostic radiology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Lillian Savetti has a Master's of Science from University of Florida. Lillian is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Chelsea Wolfe. Dr. Savetti will do her residency in psychiatry at University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington.
Dr. Emily Swenson has a Bachelor of Science from Johns Hopkins University and a Master's of Science from the University of Colorado in Aurora. Emily is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Michael Overbeck. Dr. Swenson will do her residency in emergency medicine at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia.
Dr. Andrew Tanis has a Bachelor of Science from University of California, Santa Barbara. Andrew is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Paratosh Kaul. Dr. Tanis will be completing his internship in general surgery at University of Colorado in Aurora.
Walter Monroe Taylor III has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Middlebury College in Vermont. Taylor is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Scotty Church. Dr. Taylor will do his residency in anesthesiology at Cornell in New York.
Dr. Amanda Frances Tompkins Siddiq has a Bachelor of Arts from Muhlenberg College. Amanda's being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Tompkins will do her residency in internal medicine in the Global Health and Underserved Medicine program at UPMC Medical Education in Pittsburgh.
Dr. Ali Torres has a BS from Stanford University and an MS from Georgetown University. Dr. Torres will do her residency in family medicine at Poudre Valley Hospital in Fort Collins.
Dr. Katie Turner has a Bachelor of Arts from Vanderbilt University and a Master's of Public Health from the University of Michigan. Katie is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Stephen Lowenstein. Dr. Turner will do her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Washington University in St. Louis.
Dr. Malvin Vienne is attending virtually today. Dr. Vienne will do his residency in family medicine at Pomona Valley Hospital.
Dr. Uriel Villalobos has a bachelor degree from University of Colorado in Boulder. Uriel is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Frank Scott. Dr. Villalobos will do his residency in orthopedic surgery at Summa Health Neomed in Akron.
Dr. Thomas Vogler has a Bachelor of Science from Bucknell University and a PhD from the University of Colorado. Thomas is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Kara Wilson. Dr. Vogler will do his residency in general surgery research track at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Aaron Vrolik has a Master of Arts from the University of San Francisco and a Master of Science from University of Vermont. Aaron is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Carlos Franco Paredes. Dr. Vrolik will do his residency in emergency medicine at University of Michigan Hospital in Ann Arbor.
Dr. Corey Walsh has a Bachelor of Science from the University of Michigan. Corey is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Sarah Christensen. Dr. Walsh will do his residency in family medicine at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Taylor Wand has a Bachelor of Science from Fort Lewis College. Dr. Taylor is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Roberto Silva. Dr. Wand will do his residency in family medicine at Family Health Centers of San Diego. Dr. Holly Carolyn Wheel has a Bachelor of Science from Boston University and a Master of Fine Arts from University of Southern California. Dr. Weil is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Jeffrey Druck. Dr. Weil will do her residency in pediatrics at Kaiser Permanente in Los Angeles. Dr. Tyler Wieman. Tyler is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. James Feinstein. Dr. Wieman will do his residency in family medicine at St. Anthony Hospital North in Westminster.
Dr. Brett Wiesen has a BA from the University of Chicago. Brett is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Granville Lloyd. Dr. Wiesen will do his residency in urology at the University of Colorado in Aurora.
Dr. Derek Wilson has a Master's of Science from Colorado State University. Derek is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Ben Honigman. Dr. Wilson will do his residency in anesthesiology at University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington.
Dr. Gabriel Yepes has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Maryland, College Park. Gabriel is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Joseph Sakai. Dr. Yepes will do his residency in psychiatry at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation.
Dr. Gerald Young has a Bachelor of Arts from University of California, Berkeley. Gerald is being hooded by his mentor, Dr. Oscar Sanchez. Dr. Young will do his residency at the Transitional Program in Santa Clara Valley Medical Center in San Jose and in Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at the Stanford University Programs in Stanford.
Dr. Tessa Kidd Zangara has a BA in Psychology from the University of Colorado in Boulder. Tessa is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Lisa Ferrigno. Dr. Zangara will do her preliminary year in surgery at St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver, followed by radiology at Duke University Medical Center in Durham.
Dr. Zainab Zululi has a Bachelor of Science from Colorado School of Mines. Zainab is being hooded by her mentor, Dr. Brian Dwinell. Dr. Zulali will do her residency in neurology at University of California, San Francisco.
If we could have all of you join us in saluting the class of 2021. Congratulations. In a slightly less enthusiastic request, if you could also acknowledge and thank the student life staff, the faculty marshals, and the staff volunteers for their time and efforts today. We could not have done this in 2 weeks without them. Thank you. I'd like to invite Dr. Shanta Zimmer, Senior Associate Dean of Education and Associate Dean for Diversity and Inclusion, to the platform.
Here we are. I would like to invite the physicians in the audience to please stand, and the physicians at home to also please stand. This is a very important moment. Class of 2021, you are physicians as well. Please stand to take the physician's oath, which can be found on the last page in your program. Will all physicians who are present with us today please recite the oath with me? I swear by what is sacred to me that I will fulfill, according to my ability and judgment, this oath and this covenant. I devote myself to the health of humanity with full respect for the dignity and worth of each person. Above all, I will strive to do no harm. I recognize that my knowledge and skills are imperfect and that I must always seek further training and growth. I will not perform treatments for which I am not qualified, and I will call upon others for help. In turn, I will gladly render aid when asked. I commit myself to the profession of medicine, to the advancement of scientific knowledge, and to the education and mentorship of those who follow me. I will respect the rights of my patients and colleagues and shall safeguard those confidences placed in me. I will speak out when silence is wrong. I will respect the law, but I will not fail to seek changes that would reduce suffering or contribute to good health. I recognize the trust that has been placed in me by society and by my colleagues. I will at all times comport myself with dignity, honesty, humility, and integrity. These things I do swear solemnly, freely, and upon my personal and professional honor. Class of 2021, welcome to the profession of medicine. as the poems that you shared with me a year ago when everything seemed to be canceled. La esperanza no está cancelada. Hope is not canceled. Thank you for reminding us all of that today. Congratulations to you and the best of luck. This concludes our 2021 graduation ceremony. There will be a formal recessional led by our marshals. Congratulations to the new physicians once again.